I would say super savers saving like over 50% of your income.
Okay, over 50% of your income.
And for people who are paying attention, or for people who are listening, not paying attention, you're all paying attention, hopefully, that's 50% of post-tax income.
Yes, take home.
Take home.
Yes.
Perfect.
Can't save
Continue.
tax money.
So on average, that's actually more like 65% of total pay. If you just think you're paying 30% roughly, somewhere right around that range.
Right. Well, I hear
Okay.
people say like, oh, I'm saving, 30% of my income, but 15% of it's in a 401k. I'm like, well, you can't touch that for 30 plus years. So
Yeah.
that's not what we're talking about here.
So I do include the 401k into that
Okay.
total savings amount. So I think roughly I save about 50 to 60% right now.
Right.
And that includes the 401k contributions.
Okay,
Solid.
so I got to ask, the percentage nightmares after you bought a house, it went from what percent to the current percent it's at now?
I honestly don't remember what my percentage of housing was before, but right now it's like 45%. And
Okay.
It hurts me
Okay.
a lot.
Okay.
Wait, 45% of your income?
Of total spending, not
oh,
of
it's
income.
total spending. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. That's a good lesson clarification here. So, okay, you buy a house. You got to make peace with that, and you've obviously conquered it. I've been over to your house. It's great. It's beautiful. It's very nice. Flashback to getting to the point where you felt comfortable to buy a house. What did you guys do along the way to have some budgeting and saving strategies when you first got together as a couple?
Yeah. So when we first met, he owned a home and he rented out a bedroom, and I shortly moved in with him. So we were basically splitting, a very low mortgage at that point. So we were able to save a lot of money because we ultimately wanted to go buy a house together. So yeah, he had a roommate. We had 2 roommates at one point, and we were able to save. We ended up moving into another house with his brother, and we're splitting a room for $500 a month or $600 a month. So like our housing cost was very small. That included utilities, but that enabled us to save a lot of money. So we were able to come up with 20% to put down for the house with a large buffer to like make any changes to the house if we wanted to.
Sweet.
So I think we were in a comfortable position.
So you guys did some house hacking in there. Now,
Yeah,
when
definitely.
was house hacking one of the main primary budgeting tactics that you had?
Yes, that was the biggest one. For
Okay.
Sure.
Now, I would think about folks who are here in California, right? Obviously, things are expensive, gas, inflation.
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep the food bills, like the eating out, the Chipotle runs, the restaurants, the $7 a gallon, right? How did you keep that to a minimum?
Okay, so for groceries, we eat beans, rice, and like ground meat. That's pretty much every day, and eggs. So it's a pretty cheap lifestyle. We'll throw a tri-tip in nowadays. So
Yeah. Ooh,
living
big
large.
spenders.
Yeah.
But it's healthy and it's affordable, and we keep that pretty
A lot of
low.
people don't know ground beef is actually incredibly healthy because it gets a lot of the cartilage and all the little pieces from all over the body, which has a lot more of the nutrients than just the meat, the muscle meat, and the fat within that
Yeah,
muscle.
red meat in general is the way to go. The nutrition realm, which we're not going to get into on this podcast, is full of a bunch of gobbledygook, but red meat for sure.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that sounds great. So getting back into the beans then, do you get them fresh or do you get them out of a can?
I know. I get them dried, and then I cook them myself, and I make refried beans every week.
There you
Solid.
go.
So you go to a grocery store that has bulk foods, so like Winco Foods or like Grocery Outlet. Like, tell us about that.
Grocery
Yeah.
Outlet. Yeah.
So
they have,
we're really just a tortilla away from having some solid Mexican food at your house every night.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Wait, she said she didn't have cheese. She never said anything about cheese.
I do have cheese. It's mozzarella, and it's in a big bag from Costco.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
All right, that's solid. So that's food. Now, what about auto and gas? Because when I think about expenses on a monthly basis, like you said, it's where you live,
Mm-hmm.
it's your car, and it's your food. So
Yeah.
what about the car?
So we were able to keep transportation costs like pretty low, I would say. Currently, my husband has a car that's paid off, and we barely ever drive it. And then we share a Tesla that's being leased through his business. So the payment's, less than $400 a month, and you don't have to pay for any gas.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into this a little bit. So you guys have a business together. So up until the point of getting to the business, because I want to talk about that, how did you guys go about managing finances together as a couple? Because I do this with my wife. She's a saint. You're awesome, Katie. And it is always a challenge when I have an impulse spend and I go buy something for $100 or something, and then we review finances.
At a zero.
And she's like, you did what? And I'm like, I know, I'm so bad.
You're like
Right.
a dog. The dog destroys something. You're like, oh, I'm so sorry.
But a lot of people, could get like really self-conscious about that if their, person or their wife or husband, partner, whomever is calling them out on it. Like, how have you guys navigated that while still keeping an eye on the goal, right, of wanting to become financially independent and being really close to being there? But at the same rate, like not being an asshole about holding each other accountable when a mistake does happen. Because I feel like this is probably a big topic for folks who want to achieve financial independence with their person, but managing it is difficult over time.
Totally. So I think what's most important is having a common goal and kind of being on the same page with your partner. Like, what do you guys want to do in 10 years? And if you guys are both working towards that goal and you want to spend your lives together, then obviously you guys are going to both do the right things to be on the same page. And, $100 here and there is not going to, ruin everything. But I think the big things is transportation, housing, food costs, not going out to dinner every night. Those are what's going to keep you in line to hit those goals.
Yep.